The Rising of the Shield Hero, Volume 1, Chapter 18, Dragon Engraved Hourglass. The next day, we showed up at the weapon shop. Well, if it isn't the lad. How's our order coming along? Done! I finished it a long while ago, Oyaji said while bringing out a set of armor from behind the counter. What came out was a rather rough and lawless-looking set of unrefined armor. There was a wild vibe to it. The Usapiru hides made up the fluffy wool portion around the neck, while the chest area was comprised of a metal plate. The joints weren't connected by metal, but by the porcupine skins. Putting my hand in, I could feel the PQ feathers fully stuffed between the dual skin layers. I'm going to wear this? How should I say this? It looked like the type of armor that bandit lords would wear. Just what were you thinking by calling this the barbarian's armor? I would look like one of those small-time Yankees back in the 90s if I wore this. What's wrong, lad? No, I'm just thinking this looks like the armor of a wicked scoundrel. What are you saying at this late hour, lad? Huh? Are you implying that I'm already a wicked scoundrel to begin with? I certainly made the most efficient choices when it came to making money, but that didn't make me a villain, okay? It will definitely suit you, Naofumi-sama. Raphtalia, you... Wasn't that like admitting I was one of them? Anyways, just try it on for us. I would avoid it if possible, but there isn't any other choice since we went through so much trouble in making this armor. I immediately got changed after entering the dressing room. I couldn't even begin to describe my amazement on how perfectly fitted the size was. It was truly something that can only be made by Oyaji, a true owner of a store who deals with weapons and armory. He could tell my specific sizes just by looking. I came out from the dressing room and presented myself to both Oyaji and Raphtalia. Your face may not give off that barbaric vibe, but I can see a glint of a lawless thug within your eyes. Huh? Are you saying that I have nasty-looking eyes? Lad, you sure are quick on the uptake regarding important details. Damn it, just what did you mean by that? Naofumi-sama, it suits you so well and you look so cool! Raphtalia gushed over with a smile. I glared at Raphtalia in silence, using the meanest look and the most hurtful eyes as possible. That was my intention, anyways. Just what kind of environment did she grow up in? I forgot that Raphtalia was a demi-human. It was probably because she had a different aesthetic sense compared to me. I confirmed through the status that this armor's defense was on par with the chainmail. Rather, it was a bit higher. Oyaji sent me a wink. So this was his bonus for us. That was quite considerate, I must say. Thank you. Frankly speaking, this kind of thing wasn't a hobby of mine, but I couldn't do anything about it since I had to prepare for the incoming wave. I convinced myself using that reasoning. Now then, what should we do? That reminds me, the town's atmosphere has been kind of tense lately. The wave will probably be coming very soon, but where and when will it spawn? Huh? Nobody told you, lad? About what? Information that Oyaji knew, but I was ignorant of. That should be this country's countermeasure against the calamity. I secretly cursed while listening to what Oyaji had to say. You've probably seen this country's huge, framed clock tower in the town plaza, right? Well, only a glimpse. I've usually been operating around the outskirts of town. The Dragon Engraved Hourglass is inside that building. When the final bit of sand from the hourglass drips down, the heroes along with their merry band will be teleported to where the wave of great calamity will occur. Oh? Without a doubt, that shitty king probably told this tidbit of info to the other heroes and their companions beforehand. If you don't know when the wave will appear, why not stop over and take a look for yourself? I guess. It'll trouble me greatly if I had no idea that when I would be warped. I planned on dropping by that place for some reassurance. Well then, Oyaji, so long then. Until next time. We said our farewells and headed for the clock tower. Throughout the town, the clock tower was the tallest structure around. It would rival the height of modern city buildings from up close. For some reason, the clock tower roof was dome-shaped, much like a church. It seemed that there was no entrance fee. The gates were wide open as other people were coming to and fro. Without wearing an outfit similar to a nun, the female receptionist was eyeing me suspiciously. She had probably recognized my face. You're the hero of the shield, are you not? Well, she recognized your shield. As you can see, I'm here since the time limit is just around the corner. Then please come this way. I was then guided towards an hourglass enshrined in the middle of the church. A gigantic hourglass with a whopping height of approximately 7 meters. It was decorated and gave off an indescribably divine aura. What was it? My spine felt tingling, like a surge of electricity was running up. Just by looking at it, my instincts kicked in and a strange sensation began to stir from within my body. The color of the sand was red. I turned my gaze upon the smooth, dripping sand. I immediately understood what would happen once the last grain fell. Letting out a ping sound, a single beam of light flashed from my shield and into the center of the dragon-engraved hourglass, striking the jewel from within it. Then a digital clock appeared in my peripheral vision. 2012. The 12 value soon turned to an 11 after a short while. I see. So the exact time remaining was translated for my own understanding. Using this will allow me to act accordingly. However, the things that I could do within a 20-hour time frame were extremely limited. All things considered, the best option was to gather as many meadow herbs as possible and rest for the day. For the rest of the day. Yeah, rest while you just wait. I also needed to prepare some healing medicine. Huh? Isn't that Naofumi over there? A loathsome, despicable voice resounded from within the tower's interior. Walking around with a huge harem of women, the spear hero Moriyasu casually came over to me. What a pain. I want to immediately send his ass flying, but considering the time and place, I restrained myself from doing so. Did you also come here in preparation for the wave? That was one hell of an indescribably lascivious look. He looked me over from top to bottom with a single scornful glance. What the hell, man? Are you planning on fighting with equipment at that level? What if I am? Who do you think I have to thank for putting me in this situation? You and that goddamn bitch behind your sorry ass. Moriyasu's gear was vastly different from a month ago. One can tell how high-leveled he was with a single glance at his equipment. It wasn't iron-based, but a shiny armor made from silver. He wore cloth underneath, which emitted a beautiful pale green tint, most likely due to the extra effects blessed by those clothes. Not only that, but there was the layer of chainmail worn in between those two. It was as if Moriyasu was boasting his absolute defense. His legendary weapon wasn't in its original sorry state either. And although it was vexing to admit, the spear's design was simply downright awesome, to be honest. It was a pike. Well, I guess that it was still a spear. Talking with this guy was such a pain. I turned my back on Moriyasu and ignored him while heading back to the clock tower's entrance. What in the name of Moriyasu-sama's talking to you? Open your ears wide and pay attention to him. A fangirl bitch from behind Moriyasu said that as they all glared at me with eyes full of contempt and bloodlust. After that came the stereotypical mockery. They began to provoke me by sticking out their tongues and jeering. This bitch. I'll kill her someday. Now, Fumi-sama, who are these people? Raftalia inclined her head and pointed at Moriyasu's group. I tried to walk away, deciding that it was best to simply leave and not answer her. The same moment, Itsuki came waltzing through the entrance. Oh, Moriyasu-san, and Naofumi-san. Itsuki seemed displeased with me clicking my tongue at him, but his good boy features soon returned. Ren had also come and walked up to us in silence, pretending to act cool. His equipment was undoubtedly much stronger than when his journey began, and then both of their companions popped up one after another. The population within the clock tower quickly escalated. 4 plus 12 plus 1. We, the 4 summoned heroes, along with the 12 adventurers chosen by the king, and finally Raftalia. That added up to a grand total of 17 people, a rather disappointing amount of troops for the impending threat. Just who is this beauty? She's simply adorable. Moriyasu pointed at Raftalia and uttered, This guy, he's fine with anyone as long as they're female. To think that a hero would lust after a little girl. This country was finished. On top of that, he approached Raftalia with filthy motives while affectionately introducing himself. Nice to meet you, young miss. I was summoned to this world as one of the 4 great heroes. Please call me by my name, Kitamura Moriyasu. I'm honored to make your acquaintance. Ah, yes, so you are one of those heroes. Raftalia nodded timidly while her eyes eluded his gaze. May I have the pleasure of knowing your name? A troubled Raftalia looked over at me and darted a glance back to Moriyasu. I'm Raftalia. It's nice to meet you. She had probably guessed that I was quite ticked off. I understood that much from the cold sweat running down her face. This girl also wanted to ditch me and join Moriyasu's fan club, didn't she? God damn it. I already tried making a peaceful retreat here, so why do these bastards still have to fuck with my heart? What's your business here today, cutie? For what purpose are you carrying around such dangerous sword and equipment? I'm here to fight along with Naofumi-sama, that's why. Huh? From Naofumi? Moriyasu turned and stared at me with eyes full of suspicion. The hell are you looking at? You fiend! Why are you dragging such a cute girl into these dangerous places? Moriyasu said while looking down at me with his eyes. I don't need to tell you the reason, asshole. And here I thought you would shoulder this battle alone, so you're just leeching off Raftalia's kindness in the end. Damn delusional retard. The trash spewing out from this son of a bitch, who trusted this parallel world's biggest whore more than a fellow hero, who was seriously beginning to piss me off. I headed towards Itsuki and Ren's direction in order to make my exit. Those two and their merry companions opened up a path for me. Let's meet again during the wave. Don't be a burden to us. I walked past them with... Isn't it past? I walked past them with Itsuki giving off a professional response, while Ren gave a cruel, bossy one like a real lone wolf hero. Surprised by my suddenness, Raftalia quickly rushed over to my side while looking around restlessly. I'm going. Hi, Naofumi-sama. After hearing my voice, she finally returned to her energetic self. Good grief, that was painfully unpleasant. Exiting the clock tower at long last, I quickly passed through the castle town and make a beeline towards the meadow, growing more and more frustrated with each passing second. Naofumi-sama, what happened to you? Nothing, really. Back then... What? Never mind. Sensing... I don't know why I mixed up their voices a little bit. They don't really have voices, but... I mixed it up a little bit. Whatever. Sensing my awful mood, Raftalia hung her head dejectedly as she followed behind me. Then a wild balloon appeared. Raftalia immediately unsheathed her sword. Wait, let me handle this one alone. But just let me. Raftalia cowered in surprise from my sudden shout. The balloon appeared before my eyes. Ora, 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 ora. Shit, 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 shit. Distracting myself by pummeling the balloon, I was able to calm down a little. I checked the remaining time from the corner of my vision. 18:01. 18 more hours. I needed to do what I could until then. After that, I went on a balloon hunt and collected medicinal meadow herbs along the way. They still needed to be compounded into beneficial medicine in preparation for the incoming wave. Then came the evening. After returning to the inn to rest, Raftalia humbly spoke to me. Naofumi-sama. What? This morning. Those people were heroes just like Naofumi-sama, right? Ugh. She had to remind me of that terrible experience. And here I had finally forgotten about it after all that diversion. Just what happened between all of you? I don't want to talk about it. If you want to know, then go to a bar and ask around. No one believed me when I told them the truth anyway. This girl was probably the same as a lot of them. However, a big difference between Raftalia and others was that she was my slave. If she refused my orders, tried to escape, or rebelled against me, then she would be tormented by the curse. Judging it was for the best, Raftalia didn't press the issue since I wasn't going to talk. To prepare for tomorrow, I compounded medicines until I fell asleep. I continued doing so for a long while. He continued to compound medicines until he fell asleep. So he would fall asleep and then he'd wake up and then compound medicines until he fell asleep. So that's just it's weird phrasing. You know what? He compounded medicines for a long while until he fell asleep. It's just the phrasing is off and can be perceived in the way that I said it, even though it's not what they intend.